Hey guys, welcome to my channel. This video is going to be about my experience with acne. My acne started about March of 2012. I had been in college for about a year and found out it wasn't really my thing. So I moved back home and my face was just breaking out like crazy. Prior to that, in high school and growing up, my skin was like this. It was smooth. I hardly ever had a pimple, and if I did, it was on my forehead and like on, my temple area, or just very small, the kind that have like a head, and doesn't really hurt. It's just kind of annoying that it's sitting on your face. But this time it was different. I was getting those painful, cystic, like nodular acne, the ones that you can like feel when you're washing your face, kind of like this thing that's going on here. And they just kept coming and they wouldn't leave. So my forehead was covered, my cheeks were covered. I had a lot of it here. I had it on my chest, on my back. And so my mom insisted for me to go to a dermatologist. She said, I don't want you to damage your skin with scars. So we need to take you there. And I resisted for a long time because I've always been kind of weird about doctors and taking medicine. So she finally convinced me to go in about September, October of the same year. And I went. It was, a young dermatologist. She was, I don't know, probably like 30-ish. And she saw me for about 5 minutes. Didn't even touch me, just kind of looked at me. And she said, okay, here's a prescription for doxycycline and Epiduo. So I don't remember the milligrams of doxycycline or anything like that, but I was taking 2 pills twice a day, and Epiduo morning and night. And the Epiduo, if you're not aware of that, doxycycline is an antibiotic, by the way. If you're not aware, Epiduo is a gel that kills bacteria. So it's meant to be used with the doxycycline to kill bacteria externally. And it's very drying, very irritating to the skin. It's not good. So I was using that morning and night, and it was awful. It stripped my skin of all the oils, really dried my skin out, and it burned to wash my face. Even like to touch it with just splash water on it, it would burn really bad. And it was red. It was so irritated, and obviously my skin was already inflamed from, the cystic acne. Adding that on top of it was terrible. Yes, it did clear up my acne. Was it permanent? No. Did it come back? Yes. So, in about April of 2013, I had another appointment with her, and she said, okay, everything looks good. You can get off the doxycycline and slowly get off of the Epiduo. So she said use it, only at nighttime. And then after that, she said she recommended to do maybe like twice a week. And so I got off the doxycycline immediately. She said you can immediately come off of it. And I said, okay. I got off of it. 3 weeks later, it came back. It was all over my face again. What I worked so hard for to get rid of for months with the doxycycline and the Epiduo came back in 3 weeks. And this time it was worse. There was more irritation, more inflammation. The amount of pimples was greater. And, sunlight, hi. So it came back, like I said. And so I went back to see her. I said, hey, it's coming back. So she put me back on the doxycycline, and it minimized it, but they never went away the way that they did the first time. So I feel like my acne grew like resistant to it. And I mean, this is my theory. And it came back stronger and more of them. So I was on the doxycycline until about late October, early November of 2014. And my skin got clearer, but I still would get breakouts here, very painful ones here, around this area. Not so much on my forehead anymore, but just like on larger pores that I had. and very painful again. And I was done. I was like, okay, this is not okay. I'm taking these pills, antibiotics, which I've heard, I hadn't researched, which I've heard are bad for you to take, especially long term. And I'm not getting the results that I want. I need to figure out what's going on. So I stopped it. I stopped taking the doxycycline. I stopped going to her. And then I made an appointment with another dermatologist. I was like, okay, let's see what they have to say. Older guy, had been doing it for a million years. And he said, okay, you tried this, you tried this. We're going to put you on Accutane. And I had heard from Accutane before because my best friend had her mom's sister, her aunt, had been on Accutane. And unfortunately, I don't know if it had anything to do with it, but their family associates it with that, unfortunately. She committed suicide. So I'd heard about Accutane before. And that freaked me out. And they gave me all this paperwork, and this is what I don't like about doctors' offices. They don't give you time to think about things. They like pressure you into doing things because they have so many patients that they have to see. You're only a number. And I'm telling you this because I work at a doctor's office. We want you in and out as fast as possible, which is terrible. We don't care about you. That's the way it is. But it's terrible. I hate it. And okay, saw me, same thing. Probably less time than her, 3 minutes. Okay, we've tried this, and this, Accutane. Okay, nurse, blah, 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 will give you the information, and I'll see you next time. Walks out, nurse comes in, and she makes me watch this video about how I'm supposed to be on 2 forms of birth control, and I have to get my blood taken every month and tested to make sure that I'm not dying. I have to get my consent. I have to be on 2 forms of birth control because if you get pregnant when you're taking Accutane, you will have severe birth defects. Why? Why is this legal and marijuana isn't? Anyway, other subject. So I went home with that information, and I had already made my mind in the office when I heard it come out of his mouth. No, no. Antibiotics is one thing. Accutane is a different thing. No, not putting my body through that. And there's a lot of side effects. It's just very unnecessary. So again, acne was getting bad because I'd been off, doxycycline, and I decided not to do it. Stopped seeing the doctor, and then I kind of just lived my life after that. Still wasn't vegan. Also, I forgot to mention, right after I got off of doxycycline for the second time, I got so sick, the sickest I've ever been in my entire life. It was like a cold flu kind of thing, terrible. It lasted like a week and a half. It's the sickest I've ever been in my entire life. It was awful. And I totally attribute it to having no defense. My body was defenseless because I'd been taking antibiotics for 2 years straight. After that, I was on, probiotics, trying to get something going in my system. Please protect yourself. And so I decided not to do Accutane. And in about... my vegan anniversary, I consider it to be January 2015 because, like I mentioned in a previous video, my boyfriend is vegan and was vegan when we started dating. He was kind of first transitioning into it, mostly vegan. He had a little bit of dairy every now and then, and like we had some because we went out to like a what do you call them? Bakery. I can want to say pastry, but that's not what it's called. You get pastries, bakeries. But anyway, so that's like the day that I was like, okay, January. Went vegan, have been vegan, and wouldn't have it any other way. I completely see an improvement in my skin. Right now it's breaking out because, it's getting to that time. But very minimal compared to before when it was, it would just flood in the pimples during that time. This time it's not so bad. Sometimes I get really painful ones around here where I have larger pores, but that's about it. So it's still a struggle. About when I made my video about my favorites, the foundation that I was wearing, and in that video I had really bad skin. It was breaking out a lot. And in that video I mentioned the Juice Beauty concealer that I was wearing as a foundation. No, that's what was breaking me out. I just kept breaking out more and more pimples, more inflammation. And I was like, what is going on? I'm not on my period anymore. It's not going away like normally. And so I stopped using it for like a week, cleared up. So can't use that anymore, unfortunately. Just wanted to share with you my acne experience. It's still going, still, going through it. I understand it's very painful. It can be very embarrassing. I remember how nice it was, and I still do it. I mean, I don't really care that much anymore after being with it for 2 years, whatever. But just waking up and being able to leave your house without feeling insecure or like uncomfortable with your skin is really cool. And I can do that a lot more now and feel happy about it. So let me know if you have any questions or if you wanted to share maybe your story or something in the comments below. I will answer any questions, get back to you, comment back. And if you're not already subscribed, subscribe and like the video if you liked it or if it helped you. And I will see you next time.